Today on The Real Fan Review, we talk about the latest trailers, our thoughts on the movies we saw this week, and the latest in movie news. Welcome to The Real Fan Review. What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? I am Hav, one of your hosts here at The Real Fan Review. If it's your first time with us, we always want to thank you for joining us and checking us out, and hope you come back. If this is your second or you've come back a couple times, we just want to say thank you for keep joining us on our conversations, our weekly conversations. Today is a special show. We got a team of 5 back again, and 2 new people on the cast today. So let's start off with the regulars. We got my boy Signs is always with us.
Hello, everyone. As always, a pleasure to be with you.
We got our man in the chair back. We got Al here.
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be back.
Good to have you back, brother.
Yes, man. And then today we got 2 new fans of the Real Fan Review. We got our girl Mantha, the new recent, is it college grad? Law grad? Law school grad with us today.
That's Cornell Law.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
First female on the Real
Yes,
Fan Review.
representing
First
breaking
female on
that
the
glass
family.
ceiling.
Yes, representation matters.
Oh, my goodness.
Female of
And we
color
got
at
Mason.
Uh-oh. And we got our boy Mason here today with us.
Hey.
Also a recent Cornell grad.
Oh, wow.
Cornell Law grad.
Oh, you know.
Graduated on the same day.
Oh, you know.
I feel like this podcast just got 10 times smarter.
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
Give us some credit.
All right. So listen, as usual, man, we always want to thank everyone who listens to us. We really appreciate the subscribers, everyone that's, chiming in on the emails, the website, checking out everything. So we're at therealfanreview.com. Our man in the chair, Al, made that website for us. But if you want, you can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're pretty much everywhere. Just look for The Real Fan Review, and again, that's REEL. And if you have any questions, suggestions, anything for us, just send us an email or contact us on the website there, and we'll love to just go over everything that you guys put down for us to check out and talk about. First thing, since we have 2 new people here with us, we just want to ask them a couple questions just to kind of get their movie knowledge. So, one of the things that how we started was we told our listeners the first time we made an episode was the first 3 movies that we liked, or the top 3 movies. So Mason, for you, man, what's like the top 3 movies for you? What are your favorite 3 movies that you could play pretty much at any time and just watch it?
Yeah, so I think the standard one is Goodfellas. Love Goodfellas.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm with it.
I got 2 more that are, one's a little less conventional, one is much less conventional. So the next one would be Reservoir Dogs. Love
Yeah, that's
Reservoir
another
Dogs.
good one. Yeah,
I've seen it like 10 times.
Straight
Oh,
dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote a paper on it in college. The whole thing is that first like 5 minutes just shows the entire movie. It's a phenomenal flick.
that's awesome.
And the third one, definitely unconventional, is Last Action Hero.
Stop playing, really?
Love. I've seen that movie like 15 times. It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. I've been trying to get her to see it for the longest time. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Remind me
not
last time.
opposed. We just haven't found it.
It's very hard to find on streaming and whatnot.
I know the name
There
sounds
are
familiar.
these things called DVDs.
I
mean, I know
I'm
your
not sure
generation
you
is not really familiar with the concept.
Been meaning to pick one up. I know.
Remind me what Last Action Hero is.
Yes,
Who's in the movie?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's the main star.
Okay.
And it's basically there's this kid in the movie who is a big like action film fan. He's like kid's like 12, 13 years old, and he
Right.
goes to the movies. He befriends this like movie theater proprietor, and gets this magic Harry Houdini ticket that transports him into an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. And so
Oh,
he's
wow.
yeah. So it's basically Inception before Inception came out, and it's just the most ridiculous Arnold Schwarzenegger tropes and cliches set to a background of just like AC/DC and Metallica and just Iron Maiden soundtrack. It's the most stupid Schwarzenegger action movie, just filled with funny lines from him, and just it's a phenomenal movie that just never takes itself seriously, and it's just a great time throughout.
I guarantee you I've seen this movie. I cannot picture it for the life of me right now. Sanj, you
But
seen
you
this?
saw it in your head just now as he described it to you.
It was like hitting my head for a little bit. I'm like, okay, I can't picture it though.
One of the best lines of Schwarzenegger, he has the lines he throws out to guys when he, in any movie, in any action thing he does. And once, so he says to one of the bad guys, like, "Hey, you're a farmer. Here, have some acres." Kicks him in the balls and just like sends him up through the roof. It's just ridiculous.
You're required
Classic.
to do that in an Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yes,
voice.
I gotta get it. It'll come to me.
You want some acres? Take the acres.
Farmer, he have some acres, and just kicks. It's hysterical. But definitely that is.
You can't quote Arnold Schwarzenegger lines.
You're right.
Yeah, you're not doing the voice.
It's like you can't just quote Rocky like quotes. Like you gotta say, maybe I'll play the ball, maybe I'll.
Oh my goodness, you guys are insane, man. Now, Samantha, how about you? What's like some of the 3 movies you like that you could pretty much put on at any moment, anytime, and just watch it because of your favorite?
Okay, I'm happy you phrased it that way. So I'm not committing myself to these 3 being my all-time top 3
Yeah, it doesn't
favorites,
have to be all-time,
but I was not.
Non-committal. Interesting.
We can go into that later off mic. But yeah, I was bad at my homework for this, so just the 3 that I thought of
right
off the top of my head while like sitting here getting ready. So I actually watched a lot of Bollywood growing up, and still like kind of do watch a good amount, like less so now, but definitely when I was growing up, watched a lot of Bollywood.
Right.
And there's this one Bollywood movie called Dawn. And the one that I saw is a remake of an older movie, but it's more of like an action thriller type thing. Without giving too much away, like about a gangster that kind of runs the show, and at the end of the day, he pulls off the ultimate trick, and you never see it coming. And it's just really cool, and it actually goes back to like the same theme of things that I like. Like one of the things that I told San off mic or off like outside of comments, like when you guys were talking about Inception and all of that, I was like, hot take, I like Shutter Island better than Inception. And it's kind of
agreed.
It's not that same degree of psychological thriller. It's more lighthearted than that, and more of an action movie, and has more comedic elements to it, and also really good music. But it's the twist at the end that I really like, that I'm like, okay, that's definitely up there for me.
Right.
Another one along the lines of like I can just put it on at any time, watch it a billion times and love it, is Hitch. I'm not a rom-com person.
Right.
But Hitch, I'm here for Hitch.
Hitch is awesome.
I am a Will Smith person, but like there's a lot of movies I could have chosen from if we were just saying Will Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hitch, I can watch anytime, like put it on, like I can even, like whatever TV show sometimes will show it back to back to back. When I was home, like many years ago, I think it had it on back to back, and I was just like, all right, we're just going to keep it playing, because I was doing something, studying for something or reading something in the background. I was like, all right, it's funny, and I always laugh at the lines. I know the lines are coming. I love the moment when like Will Smith is trying to teach Albert Brenneman, I don't remember Kevin James, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin James to dance, and it's in the background, and he's trying to dance, and Will Smith just like smacks him across the face and is like, no, get out. Will get me every single time. Like,
listen, the second you said Hitch, all I keep doing is the heavy D. Now that we found love.
Yes. And then the third one, ending on a little bit of a heavier note, I think it's more of a recent one, but it just came to mind when I was thinking about it.
Go for
it. But it was The Hate U Give. And that one came out, I think, within the last year or so. And I went to go see it in theaters on my own. And I will put it up there, 1, for the story that it tells, and 2, for the emotional response.
Wow, that's
that
awesome.
People, that it evokes. Like, I'm also, as much as I'm not a rom-com person, I'm also not a movie crier most of the time.
Right.
Like, tears throughout the entire movie.
Wow.
Because it's just such a real story that I think is pertinent to the times and needs to be told, and happy that it made it to the big screen.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, that description alone makes me want to go rent that movie, because I don't think I've seen that one, Hate U Give.
Yeah, it's
who's
Hulu.
starring in there?
Amandla Stenberg. I might be butchering her name. The first name is Amandla, but she played Rue in Hunger Games. And this was the next big thing that I know her in, and I don't know who the other stars are.
I'm not surprised that you put Bollywood in the mix.
Well, yeah.
I'm not surprised that you put
Yeah, because I grew up watching a lot of Bollywood.
Yeah,
Did you grow up watching a lot of Bollywood songs?
Yeah, but they're all the
I
same
think less
movie.
so
They're all
than
the
me,
same
though.
movie
Yeah.
to me. Well, no, I did. I saw a lot of it because of, our grandmother sitting there watching the movies. But to me, all the movies are like the same thing. Boy
Dawn was different,
sees
though.
girl. girl sees boy.
And I think that's why I liked Dawn
Girl's
so
family
much, 'cause it
doesn't
was
like
different.
boy. Boy and girl fall in love.
Sometimes it gets crazy, and
Fights-
boy's family
no.
doesn't like girl.
Right. Fight scenes, music interludes, wedding.
That is not Dawn.
You forgot the dance scenes. You forgot the coordinated dance
fight
numbers.
scenes
That's the
and
music
musical,
interludes.
the musical interludes.
Okay, okay.
Right?
Oh my god.
With the coordinated dancing, yes.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
and then wedding.
All right.
And that is not Dawn. And that might be one of the reasons why I liked it so much.
No, yeah, but that's the general archetype for the
Yeah.
Bollywood popular movies.
That's insane, man. All right, that's cool. You know what? I got actually one more question for you guys. We did what was it? The March Madness that we did with the 64
Yeah,
movies, and we ended up with a tie with The Dark Knight and also with the Schindler's List. There, if you two had to choose between those two movies, you know, what would you choose between those two movies? Because we got stuck on a 2-2 tie on The Dark Knight and the Schindler's List. There.
So going back to I haven't seen most of the movies I should have. I haven't seen Schindler's List. So I think by default I have to pick Dark Knight, but I'm not mad about it.
Okay. All
Dark
right.
Knight was a phenomenal
Like
movie.
I saw
Yeah.
Dark Knight twice in the same week, so
Ooh, nice.
I'm not mad about it.
All right.
Dark Knight was good. It'd be hard to pass up on Dark Knight versus a lot of movies. I think
Really
Dark-
was,
That
yeah.
was such a
Okay.
phenomenally
So-
acted movie. Directed, everything was
That's interesting because even though initially the initial 4-man group came up with a tie, everyone subsequently has gone Dark Knight.
Yeah, reality too, right? Reality
Aldi
went Dark Knight.
They went Dark Knight.
You heartless bastards.
You know.
No, but actually, Samantha, if you can, man, you should watch that movie.
Yeah.
man.
No,
It's
I
pretty-
definitely know that it's on.
incredible.
So we actually have a running like a
Yeah.
physical
Oh, you got a list? All
Yeah,
right.
it's in the
Movies to
notes
see.
app on
Yeah.
my phone of movies
Okay.
to see. So if it's not already on there, I
No.
can add it.
All right, that sounds cool. All right. So now we'll get back to our usual routine of things, but we just wanted to introduce, like I said, Mason and Samantha to us here. So now we're gonna go into those trailers that came out this week, and there was 4 trailers that came out that looked pretty good for movies that are coming up pretty soon. I know Toy Story 4 is coming out June 21st.
I'm so excited for that.
Dude, I'm so excited for it. I was reading that on what is it, Rotten Tomatoes, that they Toy Story 1 was 100%, Toy Story 2 was 100%, Toy Story 3 was a weak 98%.
Oh, that's high. That's high. That's high for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The third one kind of was like
That's
a little
the
weird for me.
elaborate.
but-
That's just nostalgia factor, man. That's all
Probably,
nostalgia.
right?
Yeah.
I didn't like 3 as much as I liked the first two.
One was phenomenal. 3
Oh,
was
yeah.
all right. Yeah.
2 was really good too. I
2 was
liked
decent.
2.
I
2 was
think
decent.
part of what made 3, like, I think you're right, completely right in the nostalgia thing, but I
Yeah.
know like 3 came out in 2010 as I was about to go to college, so I think a lot of the good ratings, like, it hit around that same
No,
time
that's
for a lot of
total
people.
nostalgia,
Yeah.
emotional,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
it
in a
came out, I
story.
remember I was in Aruba with my mom and my sister when we went to go see it, because that's
Yeah.
when it came out, and it was my post-graduation, like, hey, you did a thing type.
I just cringe when I watched it, like the trash compactor scene when they're about to like burn the fire and they just look
Oh.
at each other and just like, yo, they're trying. Woody's trying to resist it, and I think Bo is like, no, it's okay. This is like our end. Like, what? This is Toy Story. This is not, you know.
It's too deep.
You're right. This is Schindler's List. It's Toy Story, right? Like, what are you doing?
I'm sitting in my chair, my lips quivering.
Right.
It's insane, man.
It was weird. It was like people were crying. Like, you don't cry for Toy Story. It's it was
Oh,
weird. It was
yeah,
weird.
Well, if that's the case, then
You
be
mean you got a
prepared,
friend of
because
me
that's
doesn't
what they're
touch
saying
it?
is going to happen in 4.
Oh,
I know, right? You keep reading all these things that they read the
They say
script.
Tom Hanks
Yeah.
and what's his name couldn't do
Allen,
their
Tim
scene.
Allen, right?
Yeah, Tim
Really?
Allen couldn't finish their scenes
Ah.
without it. Yeah.
Everything's got to be so emotional nowadays. Everything has to be so emotionally charged. It's Toy Story. It's a cute.
Are you complaining
Meanwhile,
though?
aren't they saving
It's a
the
You
cute,
short?
loved
fun movie.
Coco,
Yeah,
and you loved Coco because it was emotional.
She's like, don't be trying to act tough.
no, you're right.
Emotions are great.
But it's Toy Story.
What about you, Sanj, man? You ready to see Toy Story? Or?
I'm ready to see Toy Story. Like growing up with it, you know, watching the Toy Stories, you know, with Samantha and everything, watching her, and now
Right.
watching it with the kids and everything. It's I love it. It's
Yeah.
just there's no other way. I love it.
Now listen, if I know Al like I know Al, he probably died laughing with the Key and Peele at the end with the two fluffy
The
animals.
plush.
Yes.
They said they were gonna do the what?
The plush.
The
The
plush.
what they call it was the plush when they like basically
Oh
like
yeah, they jump.
They jumped the old lady.
it's assault and battery, right?
If you see the
San
comment-
recently learned the difference.
Right.
Oh,
So,
it's
I
assault.
got a I got an education today from the lawyers
was
and
cracking
up.
what,
Battery.
yeah.
I'm just sad that they don't do it.
Oh yeah,
Because
it
then
was
they
just
pull
a-
back and they go, "Yeah, we're not going to do that one."
No, so I was
But just the fact that they could, you know, like
And I'm glad they showed it.
no, so I was teasing Hav a little bit before we started, saying like, oh, there's something about that trailer that I noticed that I bet none of the guys notice, and that's why it's good to have female voices, representation, yes. Well, one of the things that I noticed towards the end of it that I actually wrote down as a note so I don't forget it, Little Bo Peep is wearing pants, and I think that says a lot. We've come a far way.
I think those are bloomers.
No, they're pants.
They're pants?
They're
I
pants.
thought they were like legit bloomers that women would wear from that time period would wear.
It's
under
still
their...
not her full long dress.
Okay.
It's still not her full long dress. It's
To be
still
fair-
not the same. It's an outfit change, which whatever. But like showing her in pants, it's like okay, we can see how we've changed from like the early '90s to now we're almost at the 2020s,
See,
and the
Sadie-
perception of women can change.
The next trailer that came out there was Tarantino's next movie here, Once Upon a Time. Now, I know Mason said this was one of his favorites, Reservoir Dogs. So I'm assuming Quentin Tarantino is one of your
Oh
favorite.
yeah, I've seen the only movie since I wasn't a big fan of was Jackie Brown. Didn't like Jackie Brown. I thought it dragged on a little too long.
Right.
You know, but yeah, everything else. I mean, you know, Kill Bill, Reservoir Dogs, obviously, Pulp Fiction. I mean, I saw Hateful Eight with Sam about a year and a half ago.
I love
and,
Hateful Eight, man. That was
oh, it
awesome,
was
man.
great.
Yeah.
I
I've also seen Pulp Fiction.
we saw Pulp Fiction, yeah, but I told her I hadn't seen it yet,
Right.
And we watched it after like one of our final exams, and I said it's going to be an action movie, thinking it was going to be an action movie. It was decidedly not.
And it wasn't just me. So it was me, him, and another one of our
No, that was a
friends.
movie. That was Reservoir Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, but
Okay, so he's done this multiple times then.
But it was, but you know, but very excited for a Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It looks, you know, the acting, the casting, the directing, it all looks like it's going to be an excellent. Definitely
Listen,
seen that in
I
theaters,
trust
definitely.
the actors, the director in there. The
Yeah.
trailer didn't seem like to show a lot. It just showed
Yeah.
a lot of the acting on there.
Mm-hmm.
And come on, I mean,
Honestly,
whenever
you could
It seemed
flash
like it was very
Tarantino on
self-aware.
You
Yeah.
could flash, you know,
Right?
Yeah.
Once
Definitely.
Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Tarantino, starring Brad Pitt, you know, and
And
Leonardo,
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
and that's all
And
you
that's
need.
it.
that's all you need to say.
And then that's the
absolutely.
movie, and you'll make $1 billion.
Oh man.
I'm just interesting because I caught about what the movie's about or touches on.
What is it about? Because I heard
Yeah.
a couple of things. I heard
Charles
that
Manson.
Charles
Yes,
Manson's
Sharon
Sharon
Tate,
Tate,
yeah.
actually Margot
Robbie.
Robbie plays Sharon Tate, who was killed by the Manson cult.
right.
But from what I hear, she has one of the fewest amount of lines in the movie.
But they build her
So
very
that-
hard, like
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
what
she
everybody
gets
was
a lot of
asking.
play
Like,
in
why
the,
would you put such a major star
because she's a big box office draw right now.
and give her so few lines? Like, you know, if she's the
Yeah.
but
Also to
their
get women to
defense,
come
though-
see the movie too.
To their defense, though, the majority of the movie seems to be about this, you know, the actor and his stunt double,
Right. I think it,
And I
it
think
almost
that's
makes
the
it seem
backdrop
like
that is
the
being told, I
Charles. Is it Charles Manson? you said?
Charles Manson. Yeah,
It looks like that's like a side plot in the
Yeah,
story,
like the
but
background that keeps the plot going.
yeah, because from the last trailer they just put out there, it looks like it's about this guy who's either having a hard time acting or he feels like he's losing it.
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio's character. So I don't know, but look, if it wasn't a Tarantino movie, I would look at the trailer sideways and just wonder, like, all right, okay. But knowing that it's a Tarantino movie, I know that it's gonna be a good story. It's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be blood somewhere along the line.
Dialogue, yeah.
Also, question: is
Go
this
for it.
Luke Perry's last movie then?
Luke Perry's in it. Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
he
I
was in
saw
it.
at the end they were saying who else was in it, and like Luke Perry was one of the names they flashed big on
Yeah,
the
no, he's
screen.
in
Oh,
it.
wow.
He plays a character named
Yeah.
Wayne Munder.
So
Oh, okay.
do we know if this is his last one? He's also
know
he
what? They
plays the
didn't mention
father
it.
on Riverdale, so that's one of the more recent things he's also in. But
Right.
he passed away recently.
Oh
and
wow, I didn't know.
Do we know or?
No, I
Okay.
mean, I
We
didn't
can
even know he
figure
was
out
in the
what
movie
he's
till you just said it, and then Man in the Chair confirmed it.
There you go. We've been missing that, man.
So it might also be the
Been
last
over here
time we see Luke
stumbling and
Perry.
bumbling.
I just want to see what the cast Harvey Keitel is, because he's always some badass character in all the Tarantino movies. And I want to see what they're gonna do with him.
Yeah, I mean, and when's that one coming out? That's coming out in some
Soon, I think within the year. I
Which
think.
one?
the Once Upon a Time in
Once
Hollywood.
Upon a Time, release date July 26th.
Yeah,
So-
that's-
oh, okay.
I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, man, that's gonna be. It looks like it's gonna be good, man. I trust him, and
Yeah.
well, he says he's only doing 10 films, right?
Yeah.
That's his big thing.
That's
Is
what he's
10
saying,
films.
And
So is
but
this number
but
9?
now that
Yeah.
they were saying he wants to do a Star Trek, so is that going to be his 10th?
You know what? He might be doing that thing where, like, for instance,
Like
what's
10,
James
but the Star
Gunn.
Trek
Well,
doesn't
James
count?
Gunn is the producer on that Brightburn movie that just came out, so technically he's on it, but not really. But I think he wants to. He said he wanted to do Star Trek or something with Star Trek. So let's see what he does.
Not to force a segue, but
Is that your segue?
The producing and whatnot. Yeah, that's the.
If that wasn't the best segue y'all ever heard for Sanjay to talk about Picard,
No, I was just gonna say, for producing, you're saying to be attached to producing and not directing James Cameron. If you're not going to segue to another movie.
we'll get to that. But I mean, we started talking about
But
Star
that's a
Trek
segue.
there.
That's a segue
there was
for later.
big news this week. I know we've only really talked about movies here, but
Yeah.
you know, Star Trek is its own universe that includes movies. But there is big
Absolutely.
news in the Star Trek universe that first trailer for that series dropped this week, and it gave us a lot. They gave us so much in like a minute, where you see him walking in his family's vineyard, which that harkens back to two very iconic episodes of Star Trek, and then it seems like he's sitting down and someone's talking to him, and they say that you know 15 years ago you led the biggest rescue armada the galaxy has ever seen, and then you left. Tell us what happened. And then and the last word of it is Admiral. He was a captain all those years.
Right.
All the movies, the whole series, all the movies, everything. He was a captain. And now they say, tell us what happened, Admiral. So right there, they tell you something. He's an admiral. And that's important because in Star Trek Generations, he met up with Captain Kirk. So this is a movie where you have Captain Kirk and Captain Picard in the same movie. And the advice, one of the biggest pieces of advice that Kirk gives him is, don't ever let them promote you. Don't ever let them take you off of the bridge of that ship. And now we hear that he's an admiral, so he did let himself get promoted. And he does not look like the same person.
Oh,
It was just so much, and it was just like, oh my gosh.
This is a series or this is a movie?
This is going to be a
It's a
series,
series, yeah.
but apparently the way even Patrick Stewart has come out, it's been written to run like a 10-hour movie.
all right. So I mean, bringing it back to some of the movies here, another trailer that came out was Terminator: Dark Fate,
Yeah.
and now they're bringing it back. Apparently, they're retconning the last three.
Oh yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about this, because I'm not quite sure I understand what you guys mean by they're retconning it.
So basically, there's 5 Terminators.
Yeah, the most recent one was Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Genesis.
Which basically was supposed to retcon
Everything
Terminator,
else.
the
Yeah.
original Terminator
Right.
with Arnold Schwarzenegger and what's it?
In that one, it turns out that John Connor himself became like a Terminator, right?
Correct. Yeah, he somehow was a Terminator.
Because
himself.
I watched it, I didn't quite get it all. Like I really, I'll admit
Yeah,
that.
we left the theater like
What?
okay.
Well, because if you think about it, right before, I like the way, like, where they kind of had the idea to go with it, because think about it, if he sent the Terminator back, that doesn't mean things stopped happening for him there.
Right.
So the way they have it is that he sends the Terminator back, and the way he became a Terminator was because the robots were still coming into the center where he sent the Terminator back. So they took him over and they somehow converted him. That I don't think they really go
It was a
into.
little confusing, that one. Yeah.
But
And then they
basically,
sent him
but
back
that one was
separately.
supposed to have already redone the first one. So now they're redoing. They're getting rid of all of them basically.
Yeah,
by
they're
saying,
keeping.
okay,
Apparently, this is
this
going to be
one takes
James
place-
Cameron's universe now.
yeah, this one takes place after Terminator 2.
Right. So 1,
Perfect.
2. So
So this
two
is basically-
classics.
So
So
this,
Now this.
Terminator
Perfect.
3, Salvation.
so is this an alternate timeline?
Not an
Are they
alternate
going Star Trek 2009 on us?
I don't know. See, I don't know how they're going to do
I don't
it without
understand what they're
watching it.
doing with it. That's the thing. Because
Every Terminator movie is about throwing out everything else. They 2 throws
The
out
only
things,
thing
3
they
throws
haven't
out
thrown
things,
out is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
which is great.
yeah,
great.
that's great. Like, he
Keep
needs,
him.
Yeah.
Keep him. And it's the first movie
Isn't that
Cameron's
all
been.
you really need? Like I don't
And
know
James
much about the
Cameron.
Terminator
you need,
movies.
You need James Cameron.
But I feel like that's all you,
you
really
need
need.
James
James
Cameron.
Cameron.
wrote-
Listen to the man.
he-
He's telling
he-
you what
it
you
was-
need to know.
You need James Cameron and you need Schwarzenegger and the name of the woman who plays
Linda Hamilton.
Linda Hamilton, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and James Cameron. That's what you need, and that's what this movie has, and it's gonna be better than every movie since Terminator 2.
Oh,
Whoa.
Necessary or
the trailer
sufficient
already
or
looks
both?
better than any.
Mason's
Oh, yeah.
calling it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's gonna be the best Terminator movie.
wait?
The
Can we
main
get that
good
on record?
Terminator
Wait,
is the
wait,
best
wait.
Terminator movie since 2.
This is going to be the best Terminator. We have
Since
that on
2.
record.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
absolutely.
But they
Hot
touched on
take.
every one of the movies. So like from Terminator Salvation, where what was
The guy was basically almost
he
realistic.
was a Terminator,
Yeah, yeah.
but he didn't know that.
Right.
So it looks like they're using that for the female Terminator in this one.
Right.
And I like the touch where Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator aged.
Yeah.
Like they didn't go computer CGI to bring him and make him look like he did back
He's
then.
living in
as
a
if-
home or something when they
Yeah,
discover. Yeah.
he's aged. So they're like, yes, it truly is organic material to the point where it aged over all
Right,
this
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Just as if it were, but he's still going to be that I'd like to see how they do.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Yo, the
interesting.
skin's gonna get ripped away, and you see metal. I mean, that's easy.
No, but like he's not as motion. Like he doesn't have like his full range
That's true.
and everything. Like he's
Stunt doubles.
yeah. So
Yeah, but I was watching this trailer and I did not know Linda Hamilton was going to be in the new movie, and I saw her appear. This older woman looked like her. I was like, is that her? And when I thought I lost my mind. I thought that's going to be so cool to have Sarah
Awesome.
Connor come back.
Yeah.
That's going to be so sick.
Oh man, so now we're gonna bring it on to our next section where we usually talk about movies that we've seen this week and kind of like either recommend or not recommend to our listeners out there. So I mean, as far as movies go, I mean, Al, you haven't been here in a while, man. So I mean, did you catch any movies? What movies have you seen in the last few weeks? There,
actually, the one I just saw with the family was The Upside
really? Okay, what was that one?
Good?
with Kevin Hart. Yeah,
I saw that movie. I love that movie.
I saw it only because my wife wanted to see it.
Wait a minute, Upside. Who's the other characters in the movie?
The guy who plays
It's, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And Malcolm in the Middle. Brian Cranston.
Brian
Brian
Cranston.
Cranston.
Yes.
Okay, now I know
Bryan
what the
Cranston.
Upside is. Okay, go for
Great
it.
It
performances.
turns out it's a true story.
Yes.
I only watched it because my wife wanted to watch it because she saw that Kevin Hart was in it.
Right,
I was like for whatever reason, watching the previews, I said, "Oh, this is going to be a dumb movie."
right.
And I was like, "All right, Kevin Hart's like, maybe he's on his way down. He started to make stupid." 5 minutes into the movie, changed my mind. Like it's
Wow.
Right after the end of the chase scene, right?
Oh, wow.
it's a comedy, but it doesn't come across as a comedy.
Mhm.
Like I gotta give it. If this is Kevin Hart trying to expand himself into different roles and genres of movie, he did a good. I can see him now trying something serious, not comedic.
Right.
Only because in the scenes where he had to be more serious, he didn't come off. I mean, I don't know if he did as well as like a Tom Hanks or Robin Williams when they went dramatic, but I can see him doing one and pulling it off now.
All right.
Whereas before I would have been like, come on, he can't do.
You
do
saw
a
him show off
dramatic
some
movie.
range.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Kevin, you're showing me that all these cries for, I don't know about the action movie, but something more dramatic. Like it pulled me in. I got involved. Yeah, it was.
You liked it like that.
It sounds like Adam Sandler doing like Funny People, right? Like that was like more of a dramatic. Like he had cancer. It was that was a whole. And like I don't know, like you were telling me, like I had the thought about Upside. Like I like Kevin Hart's comedy. I don't like him in his movies, but your description makes me want to see. I'll try to take a look.
Oh,
Catch the
definitely.
movie.
There was nothing.
Okay.
There was
Everybody-
like I saw the movie too, and I really liked the movie. I liked the
everybody
story.
played their
Okay.
roles.
Good to know.
They played
And
their roles.
there was
strong.
nothing over the top about his
Okay.
performance in any way. Like it all fit. It all went over very well. And
I'm gonna check out the movie. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a good recommendation. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, like even the
good.
way, like not to
Should I add it to the
no
list?
spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but there's a family element involved.
Right.
And even that didn't seem rushed. It didn't seem like, all right,
Oh, wow.
come on, that wouldn't have won the person over that quick. Like everything was done gradual in a way. Now I don't know how much of it had to do with the fact that it was based on a real life story, but yeah, it was. Everybody acted their role well, and it played out real good.
No, that's good,
Definitely
man.
check it out. Thank you. Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, man. And Sanj, man, how about you, man?
so this week, Thursday night, we went to see Brightburn.
Yes, we did.
I thank you so much for sending that text because otherwise I would not have gotten up and gotten out and saw Brightburn this week, and I did want to see Brightburn, so that was great. And then to see it with you and B, that was even better, so that we could discuss and have a little commentary on it right there. It was twisted,
Very twisted, very gross, very. It came off more horror movie than I thought it would.
Yeah,
Yeah. it
just
really
with the
did.
gore.
Bob, what about you? What movie did you see this week? Anything?
Listen,
anything good?
I saw Brightburn with Sanj, and I thought that it was pretty good, man. I was telling Sanj and a couple people who asked me about the movie, was it like great or because it feels like right now everything either has to completely suck or be awesome and fantastic, and nothing's ever better than it.
Right.
For me, it was a good movie.
Right.
I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah.
Was it great? No, but it was good, and I would tell people it was worth to watch.
All right.
you
So
know?
on Brightburn, since we both saw it, where
Yeah.
does it? I know your rating system, and we're all familiar with it. Where
Yeah.
does it fall on Javier's rating system?
You should see it. Yeah, it's you should see it.
In the
don't
theater?
need- I would say so, man, because
Okay.
it's a good movie, man.
I would say
I'm
for
glad
the
I
special
saw
effects,
it,
you'd want to see those.
Yeah.
You'd want to see certain scenes in the theater to get the effects.
especially some of those kills, man. Oh my lord.
Don't
No,
give
no,
that away.
no.
Don't
There's a
give
lot
that-
of people
don't-
here who didn't see it,
yeah,
so
don't give
we're
that
gonna
part away.
we're not gonna do the spoiler review here.
So- I also saw today
yeah,
Aladdin.
that's right. I saw the
Remember,
tickets,
remember.
yeah.
Initially, I was
How was
completely
Blue Will
against.
Smith? How was Blue Will Smith?
He was good.
There you go.
Never have a friend.
Yeah.
Never
It's
have
the-
a friend.
He was good.
It's still Will Smith. It's got
It
to be
was
good.
It was not Robin Williams' Genie.
He
but
made it his
again,
own?
I did not want it to be Robin. He made it his own.
Awesome.
And he did a good job.
He's Will
And
Smith.
they made some changes to the. They made some very subtle changes to.
Did he
the-
do any of the Robin Williams genie sticks, or
No.
was everything new?
Everything was his own thing,
That's
right?
awesome.
Will Smith's good enough. He can, he can do any. He can remake anything. Like, he's just like one of the most charismatic actors. And
Right.
it's just,
Yeah, he's
like,
phenomenal, man.
He could do, take any classic role. They could remake it, put Will Smith in as that role, and it's gonna be,
His own thing.
stellar.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Will
they-
Smith, we're inviting you to the Real Fan Review
Please.
to give your take. Or Jada, you can
I was
invite
about to
us
say,
to the Red
Jada,
Table
Jada,
Talk.
Jada, you are welcome as well, sweetheart.
Or you can invite us to the Red Table Talk because I'm also a fan of that. If you guys have any idea what that is, we can talk about that later.
Jada's
Oh,
show.
that's
On
Jada's.
Facebook,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
great. Oh, great.
You think it holds up to the original?
Yeah, it does. Great scenes. Great.
Didn't they add new songs to it too?
A couple of new songs.
Did
Not
those
all.
hold
Not
up?
all of them were hits.
Okay.
Most of them were. But the fight scenes held up. The action scenes held up.
How about Aladdin? How was Aladdin?
I liked the Aladdin. He sounded like Aladdin, which
He,
was important.
he sounded like what's his face
Yeah.
from Full House.
Yes.
It's called
Kirk-
something, but what was his name on
Same
Full
guy.
House?
Same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was his name? What was the character's name?
It was DJ's boyfriend.
DJ's boyfriend.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, for-
Oh.
Full House.
Yeah.
DJ's boyfriend. But anyway, yeah. So he sounded like it, and I mean, yeah.
Dang,
I mean,
why can't
my
I
favorite
remember
my
this?
favorite scene in Aladdin has always been the magic carpet ride.
Steve.
Yeah.
His name was Steve.
Yeah, always been the magic carpet ride, and
The character's name was Steve.
it was awesome.
Scott Wanger.
Yeah.
Wanger.
Went to high school with him. Year before I went to high, he was the same high school before. That was like one of their big claims to fame. Like, oh, the guy who played Aladdin went here. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
no,
all right. Our claim to fame is Busta Rhymes.
Oh.
I think we win that one.
We got,
Also, Eddie.
I
Murphy.
really think we
Also,
win that
Eddie
one.
Murphy's from Roosevelt, and that's close enough.
it's cool.
Yeah.
We got
Because
Josh,
we
Josh
can hit
Gad
you with no
too.
delay into what you're saying, yo.
We got Josh Gad too. Book of Mormon. Come on.
Oh, yeah, okay, okay.
See, I know Broadway
Shout out
too.
to you, school. Shout out to you, school.
Oh man,
It'd be funny if we had a
and
subscriber
I-
on there.
I am so glad to say, Sanj, I saw Creed 2.
I was gonna ask you about this. Can we finally talk about Creed 2? I was so gonna ask you about this week. Can
Let
you
me
see
tell
how
you.
excited I am?
First of all, goddamn movie made me cry at the end. Okay,
Did it not?
it was,
Oh my gosh!
and I'm like, what is going on with my eyes?
Like
Who brought
allergies?
the onions?
It's a fight.
Allergies?
It's a fight, and I'm like, Drago's dad cares.
Yo, how the wife did him dirty,
Oh,
son.
throughout the whole movie, man.
Yo, and it's not so much that she did him dirty, Drago dirty.
Both of them.
She did her son dirty, yo.
I'm gonna make y'all die laughing right now. So I'm watching this movie like around, I think like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. The whole house is quiet. I got the headphones on, I'm watching Creed 2, and I'm just loving it. We get to the Michael B. Jordan training montage in the desert. Is it the desert? Because they were in
Desert,
Florida.
yeah, it's a desert.
Yeah, desert.
It's
They
a
were.
desert.
I was like, this desert's in Florida.
We got beaches.
So
sand. It's all
the,
sand.
the training montage is happening. He's running, and when he falls behind behind Rocky, get up, and he's not getting up right away.
I'm like, I thought he was dead. Like, I'm like, yo, Rock, you really about to leave him out there? Like,
He gets up and he starts running. I paused the movie. I went downstairs, and I did the Hulk Hogan make the two muscles. Dude, I took out my boxing gloves. I took out my mouth guard. I got my wraps.
you went out in the garage.
I
You
went into the garage and started boxing, man. I freaking loved Creed 2. Dude, first of all, I love Michael B. Jordan. He's phenomenal in anything he does, man.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen Fahrenheit 451?
No,
It's on HBO. I've seen the first half of it, and it's pretty good. I need to finish watching it.
dude,
but
he's just absolutely great, man. He really is, man.
Oh,
Oh, I also saw this week. Oh, this was a good week for movies for me. I saw Guava Island. That was a Netflix movie with Rihanna and Donald Glover.
See that?
I thought you
Did
said
you
it.
like that?
I hadn't
he's
seen.
talented. He's awesome. He's
I
hysterical.
thought it was cool. I mean, you know, it's.
It also takes place in Cuba.
Ooh, oh.
Mason
Yeah.
thinks he's Cuban.
So that's I pretty much thought that it was Cuba. Basically.
Island?
Yeah, Guava
Yeah.
Island. That is based off of the plight of the Cuban people.
No, it was
under-
filmed there and everything.
Yeah, under
that's cool.
Castro. But yeah, I thought it was a good story. I mean,
Yeah.
spoiler alert, no happy ending, but that's the point.
That's cute, but you know,
Right?
it's not. Yeah.
You know, he does. I think that there was a lot. It was a lot more centered around his music than the story than I
Yeah.
would have liked. But
Is he the protagonist or is she?
I think they're co-protagonists. I think.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know much
I
about
think
the
they're
movie.
telling-
other than
Donald Glover
they're-
He dominated
Rihanna.
the
Oh, Rihanna,
scenes,
okay.
though.
Yeah, he dominated the scenes, but
Guava Island.
her
her acting was
contributions.
stronger
Yeah, her
than
acting
his.
was strong, but her character's contributions to the story were still very profound.
Yeah.
I found so. Yeah, this was a good week for movies for me.
Yeah, me too. Because I saw also, I saw Live Die Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. That was a rewatch though. I made myself watch it again. I freaking love that movie, man. So awesome, man.
Or we in the Matrix, and then like the movie, since it's like a repetitive movie, like. Did you just, or were you in the movie?
Yeah, you keep talking Matrix. Sam and I saw. I've seen this a bunch of times, but Sam saw it for the first time this past week. Speaking of movies this week.
That's
yeah, what's he
right.
doing? So ask Sam what you thought about the
now,
Matrix.
You know what, Al? You should interview them on this because this is your territory, brother.
You're a big Matrix guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's a
no,
We
great
saw the
movie.
first. Well, I saw the first two. I haven't seen the last.
Yeah,
one.
she hasn't seen, and I don't think she needs to. Frankly, I don't think she needs to see Reloaded. But it was like 9 o'clock on we were in like Bennington, Vermont. We're like, what else gonna be in Bennington? Let's watch the next Matrix. Why not?
There really was
yes.
nothing else to do.
Quaint town.
We tried.
Bennington, we love you.
So what'd you think?
So I liked the first one definitely. Holds up well, especially like with all of the like dystopian type things and dystopian type books that were like, oh, now we're living it and all that stuff.
Right.
Definitely plays well into that. I did have like a couple of questions about like poking holes in the narrative. Like I know you're supposed to suspend belief for a couple of things, but I'm just like, but how come?
Nah,
if
she's
this one
being
could do
stubborn.
this
She's
and
being
blah, blah,
stubborn.
blah, blah.
I've answered all her questions,
For
and she doesn't accept them. She's being
example-
stubborn.
Oh no.
There we go. I'll let Al answer her.
For
answer her
example,
critiques.
so the whole thing is like he gets told like when it's about
Sorry. Go.
when they're about to go in to see the fortune, not the fortune
Oracle.
teller.
She's talking
The
about
Oracle.
when Morpheus takes Neo in to go see the Oracle.
Yeah, the little.
She tells you what you need to hear.
No,
you go.
not even her. Like that's not the point.
Yeah.
It's before he goes in and he's like sitting there with the little kid and the little kid's bending the spoon and he's like Keanu Reeves is like, oh, like how do you do that? Blah blah blah. And the kid's like, you just have to realize there is no spoon and then blah blah blah.
It's
This
not
is
only
how
the
you do
spoon
it.
that bends; it is only yourself.
Yeah, all that stuff. And then like he takes that on and like he does all the stuff with stopping the bullets and all that stuff. And even Morpheus tells him that there's a lot you can do in this realm as long like basically you just have to unlearn the laws of physics that you think you know and open yourself up to the possibilities of things that could happen, right?
Well,
so that's
because
what. No,
he
I'm not done yet.
controls.
I'm not here yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
Let's go.
That's
Let's
setting
hear
the
this.
scene.
She
So-
has two main critiques. This is like one of her main
I
critiques.
can't wait to hear this.
Oh,
No,
boy.
so then
boy.
Morpheus is the one that tells him like basically suspend your belief, like suspend what you know about the laws of physics, what you know about the physical laws of nature, and then once you do that, whatever your mind can conceive, you can do here. Morpheus tells that to Neo. Yet Neo is the only one that can do the whole bullet stopping, all that other stuff. Whatever. Cool. The first time it happens, it's like, okay, maybe he's the first one that thought of it and made it happen and all that other stuff. But once, at the very least, once Morpheus sees it happen, why can't Morpheus recreate it? Why can't Morpheus, like, have the mental
Because-
capability to say, like,
Can
the
I
bullets
answer
aren't
this-
actually
can I answer this
there,
question?
and these are blah, blah,
Because
blah,
Neo-
and bend the
because Neo's
air around.
character- Because
Well, can I-
Neo's character actually has a purpose. Go ahead.
I've seen Michael Jordan jump from the free throw line and dunk. That don't mean I can do it.
No,
But that is a physical capability
No,
thing.
basically-
There's a mental capability thing, and like Morpheus seems
No
like he
matter
should
how
have
much
the
I
mental
train,
capability.
No matter what
in
I
the
do.
in the Matrix, the thing of the one where they keep referring to him as the one, the program, the Matrix was created so that one person in the Matrix can gather and collect all of the errors of the program, so that once he goes back into the
Mason is
reset,
just saying
when
he's
he
right.
met up-
Yes.
You got to see the like if y'all can see the look on his face. Arms folded,
So he is
nose high.
so his
Pop as
his
fuck.
interaction-
I love it. I love it.
So
Keep going.
so his interaction with the Matrix is such that he can take advantage of any error, anything that anybody else can't do. He's going to be able
But
to
once
do
they see him do it, why
because
don't
they still can't do it. That's like me saying, okay, everybody has a sign on to a computer, but your sign on only allows you to enter in information.
He's the only one with
My
administrator
sign-on lets me
privileges.
edit it. I can change the program. I could
So
delete
the
the
way that
program.
Mason was trying to tell me, it's like, oh, it's because he's the prophesized one and all that other stuff.
Well,
and I'm
because
just like,
randomly somebody will be that one. He happened to be the one.
like,
And if you
whatever.
if you go back to the
Sure,
story,
whatever.
they're the 7th version of that story.
Yeah.
So
See, but
he's
that
the
was-
Because I kept
7th
doing.
But that was Reloaded, and I don't know if we're talking about canon. I don't know.
Vis-a-vis.
Ergo.
So that's
I
why
also thought it was
Concordedly.
super interesting.
Oh, but actually, I like her.
My
second,
favorite one was vis-a-vis.
her second critique. Her second
Dude,
critique is,
wait. I remember watching the second one and that whole scene.
Al.
I was looking at the whole scene.
Ergo.
I was just nodding my head. He finished, and I just looked over. I was like, "What the fuck did he just say?"
Wait, so my favorite part of that scene is when you look at the screen, all the TV screens, and it's Neo, and it's all the like his face,
All the
coming up,
reactions?
and
Yeah.
it like there's 4 or 5 screens of him just like flicking off the architect and saying "fuck you." Like yes, yes.
No, I also thought it was super cool that there were a ton of people of color in that movie, especially given that what was this, the 90s or something?
Yeah.
Which like the 90s
Yeah,
weren't
Matrix
not
is, yeah.
the 90s weren't not progressive, but it was still
But
notable
the
that it
Wachowskis
was
were.
like, wait,
The Wachowskis
Yeah.
were.
it was like,
yeah.
whoa, wait, like most of the people in whatchamacallit, whatever the city was, Zion, like wait. There's melanin here. Oh wait, there's melanin here, and we partying. Okay,
the
cool. All
children of
right,
Zion.
we here for it. Cool.
Morpheus, Jada Pinkett Smith's character,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Niobe,
The Oracle.
Jason, her like her
The
her
Oracle.
partner, the Oracle, yeah.
Like yeah, and it wasn't just like I mean there was a ton of it that I was like, there's still like the head person and the people that report to are still white and all that stuff. So it was like, okay, sure, but like it was still like a good nod. It was like, oh, good. Look at the '90s trying to push the envelope.
I'm very curious to hear what the second thing you have.
Oh, the
again.
second-
Oh, that,
I would. I'm so
that-
curious right now.
man. She won't listen to logic on that one.
All right, let's hear it out.
Okay, so the second one is particularly in the first movie. Morpheus tells Neo, anyone who's not one of us is an enemy. Basically, is part of the program. I don't remember the exact line, but anyone who's not one of us is one of them.
Yeah.
It's when they're going through the simulation.
Yeah, when they're going through the simulation and they have the thing with the girl in the red
Smith is
dress.
Lady
about
in
to
red.
shoot him, and then Morpheus says freeze it, and then it freezes.
Gotcha, I know
Oh
exactly.
yeah,
you are.
but no,
Yeah.
but then like he starts running away
No,
and they're
right.
trying to catch him, but it's like the one Smith trying to catch him. So I'm like, okay, so if anyone that's not them, if anyone who's not on Morpheus's team is one of quote unquote them, then why couldn't whatever the administrator get into the program? And I don't mean make the other people on the street Smiths. That's not what I mean. But they're already programming those people. Like they're already like on a like programming them. Like have already programmed their choices, their day, their stuff like that. Go in and switch the program really quickly to catch that man.
Actually, no,
and have more people
Can
chasing Neo to catch him
Well, no.
instead of having the one Smith.
the people weren't programmed. The environment was programmed, and the people get to interact with the environment. That's why they can't do that necessarily. The Smith would have to take over that person, and if they do too much of that in the Matrix, well, then the Matrix will fall apart because people will start to realize that this is not real. And the whole point was to keep up the facade. So the environment is what's programmed, not the people.
and because they're still connected to the Matrix, they can be taken over.
Yeah,
Meanwhile-
but yeah, and that was my point. It's like, since they can be taken over, why haven't they been taken over? Since it's so important to the other side to catch Neo, why haven't they
Because then
tapped
they would
into
do-
the
like,
other
to
people
Sanjay's
to
point-
catch Neo?
Because to Sanjay's point, to do that,
It collapsed the whole
It
Matrix.
would
And
co-
remember, they still
think
use the
about
people
it.
as a power source, and they can't collapse the Matrix.
if you hear a story that everybody in New York, in Manhattan, just disappeared over in one night because they took everybody over,
A snap?
it would have destroyed. Yeah, it would have. Like it would have.
I
It would have made too much of a thing.
am-
So,
Neo.
so to keep the reality, yeah.
Anytime we can revisit the Matrix,
Oh,
I'll
it's
take it.
fantastic.
Anytime. Anytime.
It's a
That's
good
awesome,
time.
man.
Poll of the room. So Sam and I have seen Matrix. Well, so we saw Matrix and Matrix Reloaded last week. Does Sam need to see Matrix Revolutions? Poll of the
Yeah.
room.
Absolutely. You got to complete the
Yeah,
trilogy.
you're not gonna like it as much, but
Yeah,
you,
he's
Oh,
kinda
and
gotta
then I
finish
guess, like,
it, yeah.
my critique for the second was, like, I guess I would have preferred that the storyline be a little less about trying to save Zion and a little bit, like, I guess personal preference would have been
Absolutely,
more
yeah.
about how do we unplug the rest of the people from the Matrix and do that kind of thing, which Mason said that's a little bit more about the third
I sort of
movie.
like the third movie in a different way, but I get
Yeah,
the root of what
like
she's saying.
I think for
Yeah.
the second movie, it's like all of a sudden now we're in Zion, and they didn't really. It seemed in the first movie that it was more important to get people out of the Matrix, though I guess one could say it was more important to get Neo out of the Matrix, but that just seemed more important in the first movie, and I thought the natural follow-up would have been, okay, so how do we do something to get either all of the people out of the Matrix or a large chunk of the people out of the Matrix, and
Right.
then the third movie would be like assimilating them back into society as it was, but that wasn't the plot, so I guess I was a little caught off guard on
Right.
that sense. In that
Yeah,
sense,
I feel like the second one. I feel the first one was very like just thought provoking.
Yeah.
I remember leaving that theater just going, "Oh my god, that was insane."
Yeah.
The second one was an action adventure.
yes.
Yeah.
You know, it was just more guns, crazy visuals, different bullet time stuff, and just
Are we talking about John Wick
Insane.
now?
Actually, I want to ask Al. I knew that. So Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions were filmed together, produced together. They were, you know,
Yeah,
they came out in the
same
same year, right? That was all a two-part movie, basically. When the Wachowskis finished or filmed and finished Matrix 1, did they intend to make a sequel, or because
They
it
didn't.
wraps up really well as a movie, right?
Yeah,
There was no
no.
intention. That was
No,
later
it was
on.
it was a one-off that it was so popular.
And
They're
then it
like, let's
just
make some
took
more
it.
money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
and from my understanding, they're still thinking about making a fourth one or
There's been some
something.
news in that
Yeah,
recently,
whatever-
back and
I
forth.
thought you guys said that was
Yeah,
John
Michael
Wick.
B. Smith.
It pretty much is.
Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Well, that's the rumor that they're gonna do
Yeah.
it, but I just don't know if it's a reboot or I
I
would
really
hope it's a
they don't
continuation.
reboot it.
Yeah, I don't
would
wanna
just
reboot,
really
man.
like to see them add to the story.
Yeah,
Like,
let it be the 8th Matrix or
Yeah.
whatever.
Actually-
or
Well,
whatever.
Mason
No,
was talking about how there's all this extra content with the video games.
Yeah, so I was saying, so when they released Reloaded and Revolutions, they're intentionally released the Animatrix, which is like an animated like spin-off of the Matrix that adds to the story, as well as a video game called Enter the Matrix, and both of those like events in those like in those mediums were referenced in Matrix Revolutions, like when they were looking for the last transmission of the Osiris was like from the Animatrix. and
Yes,
also
I
from
remember
Enter the
playing
Matrix.
that.
Right, and
Yeah.
so it's like they did expand the universe, was really cool. So to Sanjay's point, like it'd be cool for them to like continue that expansion.
Yeah, I don't want to see a reboot. I want them to keep
Yeah.
it going. Maybe a prequel if it's the story of Morpheus, possibly
I
if
could,
it's
I
done
could,
well.
I could rock with that.
Yeah, but yeah, I would still love just to go back into that
Yeah.
that franchise.
Or
It's
like,
just awesome.
like Trinity, like see what her deal was, like you know how did she get to this position? And
That
and
too, yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
and actually, I keep seeing on Al's screen. Speaking of remakes and reboots, I see a couple ads for Men in Black on here. I'm curious what y'all think about that.
Is that
'Cause
so?
I'm
So
excited.
is
That
this a
looks
reboot
cool.
or is this?
I
it says
think it's
Men
a
in-
separate story because it's
What,
Men in Black
No,
International.
Men in Black. No, it's a continuation.
Good.
Okay.
Because
Well,
if
good.
you
But
see
it's
in one of the
still Will Smith
scenes,
and-
she refers to like the people that built up the Men in Black, and you see a picture of Will Smith
Oh, that's
and
cool.
what's his name's
Tom
character.
Tom Jones?
Yeah, Tommy Lee
That's
Jones.
cool.
You see a picture of their characters like fighting aliens.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
I think it's a continuation.
Oh, kind of like how in the
story.
first one where they had the picture of like the meeting of the aliens with that's cool.
Yeah, so I think it's a continuation. I don't think it's a reboot.
I hope so.
I gotta tell you, I like Men in Black 3 because it was like
gonna
a
ask.
That's
it was
the
like a
only one I haven't
callback.
seen. That's the
Yeah.
only
Yeah,
one
it's
I
not
haven't
bad,
seen.
man. You should check it out. It wasn't bad. Men in Black 2 was the one I wasn't too crazy
Josh
about.
Brolin did a great. He did like a superb Tommy Lee Jones impersonation that entire movie. It
Oh
was
yeah,
so spot on.
yeah, man.
Like props to Josh Brolin for that movie.
Dude, he's phenomenal, man.
Josh Brolin.
Yes.
Thanos,
Yeah.
come on.
Not only Thanos, but everything he pretty much does,
Yeah,
man.
he's
He's
good
pretty
He
good.
was great. No Country for Old
Like,
Men.
even Cable,
Yes, no
like, even
control,
Cable,
man.
I didn't
He
like
was
the
Cable
Cable
and
character, but
Deadpool.
I liked the way he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man. But are you guys interested in seeing Men in Black International?
Yeah,
Yeah. That would be great.
I really like Men in Black 3 too, because you get an explanation of why he.
What was his letter? K?
K? No, he's J.
No, Will Smith was J. No,
No, he's K.
No.
Because
Will
K-
Smith was J, and then Tommy Lee Jones was K.
right.
Because Will Smith keeps saying K. I just remember that from the
Alright.
second one.
Yeah.
Unless I'm just misremembering. Like that.
Because I thought he would.
That
Will
seems
Smith would
right.
be K because he came after J. And
No, I think he was.
I think he took over somebody's
I'm
tag or
Oh,
something.
No,
okay,
because
so
they like
maybe.
deleted. They like
Okay,
deleted the
alright.
rest of his. I think it
Gotcha.
was. Yeah.
And,
Jay, no, Will Smith was J.
Yeah.
Tommy Lee
and
Jones
Tommy
was K.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair
I
enough.
can't even believe I remember that.
That scene though at the
Epic
end.
movie.
When,
God
like,
forbid I have to remember something for a test for school or for work.
But who's J? And
But K, I
You know.
remembered from like what 7-8 years ago.
Have your priorities straight.
But at the end near the end when the whole overarching theme is being like, how did Will Smith keeps like, what happened to you? Like what happened? Like who is? And then they bring it full circle where at the end of it it's like spoiler alert, Will Smith's father or Jay's father bites it, and then that moment right there really messed K up a lot because and then seeing that he's known Jay his whole life.
Exactly.
And has looked out for him and everything, and it I like stories like that where they tie it back
it well and tie it well.
up, and
Yeah.
when they do it well,
Yeah.
and and then how he gave up the opportunity to be with the woman too because he just lost his faith in everything because of what happened. It's just great.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, you should definitely see Men in Black 3, man. It was pretty
Yeah.
good, man.
I hope Will
Oh,
Smith
damn, I
makes,
just
it,
spoiled
makes a
it?
cameo. I hope
No,
he makes a cameo.
That's good.
No, Al doesn't care for that stuff.
I feel like Will Smith's been doing a lot lately.
That's
There's like
fine.
a lot. No, like meaning like he's
Good.
been like on a tour of being in things lately because he's done Aladdin. He did. I think they're doing Bad Boys 3
Yeah. I
or
keep
whatever
seeing
it
stuff about
is.
that, yeah.
There's the Gemini movie or whatever
Yep,
that
Gemini
was.
Man.
Man.
Yeah, and then like
Looper?
he's out there
Basically
doing
Looper.
like his bucket list for Facebook. Like Will Smith's like living his life right now.
Yeah, he's doing his
I'm
thing,
here
man.
for that. I'm here for it.
Also, Will Smith, if you want to come be here once again.
We'll definitely take all those opportunities,
Yeah,
man.
like Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones cameos. Oof, that'd be something
You just
else.
gotta like at Will Smith when you post this one.
I'll make sure to keep that in mind for that.
That is true. I didn't realize just tag people randomly and see what happens.
Actually, it's
We
funny.
should be tagged. You know who we should have been tagged? Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, we talk a lot about him.
If anybody will come down, it's him.
No, man. All right, so listen, this week we got coming out, let's see here, the Godzilla King of the Monsters. Or is it King of Monsters or King of the Monsters? I've seen both on there.
The Monster King.
The Monster Mash.
Monster Magnet?
The Monster Mash.
And
Let's have them appear.
listen,
King of
this-
the Monsters.
King of the Monsters?
Yeah.
All right, so KOTM. King of the Monsters. All right. I mean, listen, I'm all for it. I already got my ticket.
Oh, we saw that trailer
Yeah.
at whatever movie we saw
There was,
last.
there was another. It's an Endgame. There's like another
Yeah.
monster he was fighting or something.
It looks like there's like 3 or 4 monsters, but then
No, they brought all of them. Rodan, everything.
yeah, and then on the preview, there's like how many were released. He said 17. I'm like 17. How long is this movie?
That's a new MCU. That's a lot of sequels.
Yeah. So
They're
I'm
going all out. One movie, everything.
No, wait.
Fire
One
everything.
This is going to be interesting, but what you just saying that he's got to go against 17 of these, and they're labeling him King of the Monsters. How do you make? Because aren't they going to then the sequel to this or the follow up to this is planned him versus King Kong?
right. So
Like,
does King
with the
Kong
King
show up
Kong
in this
from
movie?
Kong? Like,
He has to show up in this movie to set up the next one.
yeah,
No.
not only that.
Or
how do
King
you
Kong
have
is
him
like
go through these
in
17?
the Eastern Conference and Godzilla's in the
Because
Western
they said-
Conference.
Because they said that there's a clear winner. They're
For
not
next
doing
movie?
it like in the old King Kong versus Godzilla. There was always a draw.
Uh-huh.
They said no, there's a winner.
Well,
King
they're in the
Kong.
same franchise, but we'll
But
see.
how? How do you? I don't know. I'd burn his ass.
That was a great Donkey Kong
Godzilla
impression.
holds up like a ton of bananas
Yeah.
into the ocean. Kong can't swim or something, and then
And then
Dead.
Godzilla just
Dead.
pops his
Dead.
head out and burns him.
just tricks him with like a fuck ton of bananas.
Torches him.
The electrical freaking beam shot of radiation should do everything right there. So it's like,
That's what I'm saying. Just open his mouth, torch him, watch him burn, and then okay.
I mean,
Banana's
listen,
going to play an essential role. You heard it here, folks.
This podcast brought to you by Dole.
Chiquita
Dole,
bananas.
potassium for your daily needs.
But they got some good actors. I like the girl who, from
Stranger Things is in
Stranger
there.
Things 11. Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, I think that's who it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
Millie Bobby. So I'm definitely interested in seeing this thing. You guys are watching this? You guys interested in those kind of movies? Those kind of like monster
Godzilla?
movies and things like that?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna wait for.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
going to theaters to see it,
I'm
but
not
I'll
going.
watch
You
it
know,
eventually.
I really wanted to see. Was it Rampage that came out a year or two ago? Because I grew up like playing that video game.
Right,
And when I
yeah.
saw them as a movie, I was so excited. Saw a trailer, no excitement. It got zapped out of me. Like I
It
don't
wasn't
know.
bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
There was someone with
That
The
might
Rock,
be-
right?
Yeah.
That might be like a Saturday night, get like Chinese takeout, like hanging, like a rainy night. Just you want some stupid that's on to show Rampage.
You gotcha. Yeah, man. Because I mean, the Godzilla movie before this one, I think the main complaint was there wasn't enough Godzilla in the movie. A lot of people forgot about it because Godzilla was so. He wasn't really part of the movie.
Yeah.
It was
Always
more
in the
about
background.
I've
Aaron
seen
Taylor
this movie.
Johnson
I
and
barely
everything.
remember that I've seen this movie.
Right, me too. Because even thinking back, I remember the fight scenes when they were about to start. A door would close and you couldn't see anything, or they'd move out the shot, or they'll go to another part of the story. And I'm like, this is supposed to be Godzilla. Now, granted, at the end he kicked a lot of ass. I mean, that the way he killed those other monsters were crazy. But the previews for this make it look good. The previews showing all the different monsters, them fighting each other, looks amazing. Look like they got the message that they need to put more Godzilla into a Godzilla movie. So I'm
Sounds
hoping.
like with Sonic. They need to change Sonic in Sonic.
Yeah, man, that's so insane. They pushed that movie back like 3 months now, right?
Yeah.
3-4 months.
While they
What did they
redo
have
it.
to redo?
What did we say about movies that get pushed back? Womp womp.
I don't know. They kept pushing back Solo, and that's my favorite of the new Star Wars movies, man. They pushed that back a while.
You're like the only person I know that like.
Dude,
really
that
likes
movie,
Solo.
I couldn't stand Force Awakens, Last Jedi.
Wait, you
Rogue
couldn't
One.
stand Force Awakens?
Oh no, it's just a reboot. It's a straight reboot of A New Hope.
It is a reboot,
Thank
but
you.
it was awesome.
Thank
It
you.
was no, but like this is my same problem with Last Jedi. They're not like if I want to watch A New Hope, I'll watch A New Hope.
I got
If
you.
I want to watch Empire, they're great movies. I'll
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
them. I don't need a remake like
A
that's why,
rehash
like,
of it, yeah.
Like Solo, it had its-
Al's about to have a coronary over there.
like Solo had flaws, right? Like it was a lot of dumb action. The character development was like questionable,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it was original. Like the plot was original. The acting I thought was good, and at the very least, it was a good action movie.
Right.
Was it a great Star Wars movie? Questionable.
Right,
But I
right.
think as a movie, they got original and creative, and I think it was a solid effort. And I would love for them to have a sequel. And spoiler alert, the at the end of Solo, Darth Maul coming back, and
yeah.
oh my god, that potential, because he was the coolest villain in Star Wars, and he just killed him off at the end of Phantom Menace. I mean, that was a totally awful decision.
Yeah.
To bring that back for a sequel, oh my god, I would see Solo in theaters. I'd see it twice. It'd be great.
Yeah, but they got scared off of it because of Solo, man. Now they're doing just
No,
strictly
'cause the
Star
problem
Wars
was,
movies.
here's the problem, right? They were gonna do it, but box office returns were so bad for Solo. But you don't look at Solo for that. You look at the previous movies. It was bad because Last Jedi wasn't great. Rogue One was all right, so people didn't go to Solo because of that. It's
Yeah.
like
It was a ban.
It was a worldwide thing too,
I know,
man.
I know.
It was just
Because
like everybody was
they
hating on
wanted
it.
Last Jedi redone, and they said until
Yeah.
you do, we're
Right, it's
protesting
not
on
so.
it.
So Sam's heard me do this right. My favorite band is AC/DC. Right, Back in Black is like on every list of his top selling albums. It's a phenomenal album. Right? The next album is called For Those About to Rock, right? Everyone knows the song, the title track, For Those About to Rock, We Salute You. It's a great song, right? That album is like, okay. It sold like 10 million copies, something ridiculous. Not because it was great, because Back in Black was phenomenal. Same
Right.
thing for this, right? Last Jedi was crap, and so Solo suffered. Solo's a great movie that should not have suffered due to Last Jedi's shortcomings.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Solo in the theaters, but
I dare to
it
say
wasn't that bad.
if a movie was really good, that even if its
would've
predecessor
overcome it.
wasn't good, it would have overcome it.
You know, but maybe, and like I said, Solo's not a perfect movie. It's got flaws. It has enough flaws that, but you know, I think a huge hit that it took was because of Last Jedi and honestly Force Awakens. I think if a sequel came out, it would have phenomenal box office numbers and box office ratings because it was a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on the Last Jedi. I like Rogue One. Rogue One was pretty good.
You got to see
Solo.
some stories of other people.
Yeah, it was cool to see that story of how they got that message to Leia.
I guess my problem,
Yeah.
my main problem with Rogue One is that they try, and this kind of goes back to the whole thing with the superheroes with this morally ambiguous. I didn't like the injection of like moral ambiguity into Star Wars, right? Star Wars has always been about like light side, dark side, good, evil, like
said
straight
that.
up.
Yeah.
That's it, right? Rogue One, in the first 20 minutes, you have one of the like rebellion, the lead male actor in that movie, like kills an informant because he broke his leg or something. He wasn't able to get away from the stormtroopers, and so instead of saving the informant, which like anybody in the rebellion,
That was the
done,
first time they saw something like that on Star
right,
Wars.
and like
yeah.
this is a good guy, right? This is Star Wars. This is not so Han Solo was always a little morally ambiguous. That's his character. So like you have characters you can give a pass to because that's how they were
But
introduced.
even him, he wasn't
right?
morally ambiguous to the point where he was. Well, actually, that's not
No,
true.
like he
'Cause
wasn't a
he
bad.
started off by like shooting somebody randomly
Well,
in the
yeah,
cantina.
he shot Greedo, right,
Yeah.
right. But like there is more ambiguity in Star Wars in its like in specific instances. But you're talking about this main rep of like the rebellion. Like this guy's not going to be going off and shooting allies. He's going to save them and get out of there, right?
Right.
And so you have this like dark. More ambiguity in Rogue One, which it's. But I will say, probably one of the coolest 90-second clips of any in the entire Star Wars universe. You know what I'm gonna say, Al? Was the scene with Darth Vader just
Oh, yeah, at the end of it,
mowing.
yeah.
I mean, that was awesome.
That was worth price of admission by
That
itself.
was worth the price of admission.
And that scene right there is what killed Last Jedi for me.
Yeah.
Was the fact that you knew Darth Vader was this heavyweight. He was like the one.
As
for
Brandon would say, the big
Force.
bad.
Yeah. No, but not only that, he was like the one for the of a Force user. He was like the prophesized one. He supposedly was born of the
Bring
Force.
balance to the Force.
Yeah,
all
so
that.
forth. So you knew he was going to be powerful, but they never showed that.
You're
In the first 3 movies, all you ever really saw him do was like choke someone. So
You don't
for
get a
the
real idea of like what his power.
well, yeah,
really
yeah,
is.
how powerful it was. So here they show like now that we can really do graphics, this is what he would really be doing if he had to go out. So to me, it was Luke's turn.
Yeah.
Luke's his son. Luke is powerful with the Force as well, to the point where Vader was like, "Yo, this guy is strong with the Force," when he was trying to kill him on the Death Star. So for you now to not do Luke justice, to the point where
Yeah.
Rey
Yeah.
was almost kicking his, during the lightsaber fight. Like you didn't.
So you don't think?
So
not
to
that
me,
not that I liked it, but you don't think Luke being able to project himself across the galaxy
That was
shows
one,
power?
No, yes, but then he dies after it.
He doesn't die.
Like he became part of the Force.
Force.
He died.
Yeah,
He died.
But he died.
He died.
So to me, but you did.
But-
But here, my thing was, yes, that shows strength, but still, you now have Rey, who doesn't really have any training,
Yeah.
and she knocked him on his ass. Like he literally had to use the Force to stop himself from hitting the ground because she was coming at him. Now he should have been able to just throw her on her ass, no problem. Just like the same way,
Right, because he's supposed to be the
Yoda
Jedi
and everybody did that
Master.
to him when
Yeah.
he was learning. And now here you are, and she, granted, she was going crazy and using Force and just strength and whatever, but still, he should have been able to counter that, because this was Luke. They just spent the whole movie looking for him because he felt like he was going to save
of
them.
any Star Wars
Yeah,
movie.
he was supposed to come and help.
Where's Waldo plot of like 2.5 hours?
Yeah, so now
That
he
is the
comes-
one's dumb thing.
Idiot.
Yeah.
And then
Especially the way they paid it
and
off.
no dialogue, just
That's it, right? Just
That's why, like, when he walked
Sanjay's
out and
holding
they-
out the remote.
Yeah, come on. When he walked out and you had all of the ATTs there and they were looking
Oh.
and they were about to unleash on him, I was like, all right, see, this is now where they're gonna give him his due.
So Al, it
And
sounds
they
like
still didn't do it.
All right, man. So I mean, the last topic that we got for today, man, is just I wanted to see everybody's like take on monster movies since Godzilla's coming out this week. So kind of link it up to the week there. So this is the last thing here. Sanj, is there any like monster movie that stands out that you like?
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim.
I as much as Godzilla is the classic and
Yeah.
like, really gave us that, like Godzilla and King Kong really gave us those monster that are the front runners in the monster genre.
Mhm.
I like the Pacific Rim movies.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I saw Pacific Rim in the theater, and I think I went too late, man. I fell asleep in that movie. So I don't know if that says something about the movie or how tired I was, but I got to give it another shot there.
No, and then like if you look at Pacific Rim 2 and like they expand on the story and I like it. I just like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not the kaijus, right?
The kaijus, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that term there. How about you, Al? What's your favorite monster movie there?
It's
The
funny
big
because
monsters movies. Not,
funny thing because I think we all went to see this movie and then I went home and was sick as anything afterward.
oh man.
Cloverfield,
the first one?
the first one. I think we all went to see it, and I don't know if it was that shaky camera. I went home and
That was
I
a
had
different
to-
weird take, right? It was a video camera.
Yeah, it was like the camcorder throughout the whole movie
remember
was
that
what
one.
caught the incident. But I liked it because I liked the way it then spun off to 10 Cloverfield Lane and then the Cloverfield Paradox that they put on Netflix.
Are they linked though? Because I feel like some of
Yeah.
them, they don't really come off like they're really linked like that.
No, they are like 10 Cloverfield Lane. You don't get the linkage until the very end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing with Cloverfield Paradox. You don't realize that Cloverfield Paradox is what caused the original Cloverfield movie.
Gotcha.
So in timeline wise, Cloverfield Paradox it leads into Cloverfield, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane is like after everything's already happening and the monsters have been basically spreading throughout. So
Yeah. How about you, Mantha? Anything? Any like monster movie you saw growing up or anything like that you really liked?
So it's funny, for our first Valentine's Day together, we watched Jaws because I had to for one of my clinics. But the answer,
What an assignment.
it was for the storytelling aspect. But I think I'm gonna throw a curveball and say that I don't have like a favorite monster movie. Like I would like if push comes to shove, I'd probably say the Jurassic Park movies. The dinosaurs could be the monsters and whatnot.
I gotcha.
But the actual answer I'm gonna give is, and this is completely my own personal bias, if Sean was still awake and down here with me, maybe I could get him on board with me, but the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And I think that's only because my own personal bias. Like Sans fandom is Star Trek, Mason's fandom is Star Wars, my fandom is Harry Potter.
I gotcha.
And the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is a continuation of the Harry Potter
I
universe.
did not know that they were part of the Harry Potter universe.
They're like
Yep.
prequels, right?
They are not prequels, but they happen before the events of Harry Potter happen.
Which is like the definition of a prequel.
I was thinking it, and you said it.
I think it's a different
She's like,
story.
it's not necessarily a prequel, but it happens before it. I'm like,
It does
that's,
happen before, but it's not like, well, these things have to happen for these things to happen. It's just we're telling more stories.
That's it. Okay, I got you.
I know. I've lived with both of you for my entire life. It's fine. But it's not anything like I'm not out here trying to argue that, oh my God, the thematic telling of this or whatever. It's completely my own biases. That is my fandom. And
That's awesome.
like Brandon was saying, my birthday's I think 2 days after Brandon. So growing up, like Harry Potter would come out in November, and we'd spend my birthday
It's like
going
made
to go
for
see.
you.
Like going, yeah. It felt like it was made for me. I'd go see the Harry Potter movies in November for my
Yeah.
birthday, kind of thing. Same thing like Brandon was saying. And that kind of thing. And the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies come out around that time. So even though the plot is not about the quote unquote beasts, it is like, so the title Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is based off of one of the textbooks that they have in in the Harry Potter series, in their Care of Magical Creatures classes. Like the textbook that they use for the first few years is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, written by Newt Scamander, who is the protagonist of
What a
these
name.
movies.
Newt Scamander.
Newt
Yes,
Yeah,
Newt
Newt.
Scamander, and he's basically like this like happy-go-lucky little guy that's just like, oh, I just want to like find the different animals of the world and like figure out how they
Wait,
work and all that
Is
stuff.
he Pokemon?
It's very similar to Pokemon.
Wait,
yeah,
original-
and
Wait,
instead of
he's
Pokeball,
Professor
he
Oak.
has
He's
his little
Professor Oak.
briefcase where he catches them all in. It's
I'm
very
just saying,
similar.
like, this is Pokemon. like,
tie-in series.
hey,
Tie-in movies.
So like for loyalty reasons, because I don't have another answer, I'm going to go with that.
That's fine. That's perfectly fine, man. And for yourself,
I think I'm gonna throw a curveball and say Monsters Inc.
Monsters Inc.
Aw.
Okay.
but they're not like
They're
scary
not, dude.
monsters.
It's a name of the movie.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they're not.
That's the whole shtick. They scare the kids.
No.
Yeah, that's the scare.
Or the kids
point.
scare them.
No, but you said like big monsters.
Big monsters. Yeah, yeah.
Dude, Mike
but-
Wazowski's a big monster. Or not,
No, Sully.
or so is a big monster. I'm sticking with him. I'm sticking with Monsters Inc.
All right, that's your story.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
But I guess like my thriller answer is like Jurassic Park.
I got you. Well, for me, none of you guys said it was Peter Jackson's King Kong when it came out
There
in
you go.
2005. That movie was pretty good, man. It was a little long too. I think that movie was like about 3 hours. It was a while that movies like that, because
Anything
like
Peter
Lord of the
Jackson
Rings,
does.
yeah, it's pretty much long movies.
Three hours is short. His tales usually like are 9-10 hours long and need like 6 movies to be told. Like,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So that King Kong
And
movie,
a ring.
and a ring.
you guys should check it out if you haven't seen it, man. That King Kong from Peter Jackson is pretty cool, man. I like that actually better than the Skull Island King Kong. A lot more actually. Yeah, because King Kong Skull Island was okay, and they linked it to Godzilla at the end of King Kong Skull Island. But yeah, Peter Jackson's King Kong for me is like my favorite big monster. That and Cloverfield. Cloverfield was on my list too. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it, man. That's the movie stuff for this week. There wasn't really a lot of movie things to talk about besides the trailers. There, nothing big came out news wise.
We saw some good movies.
But
this
we
week,
definitely
like,
saw some good
yeah.
movies. Yeah, Creed 2, Brightburn, Upside, Matrix. All right, well, listen, we're getting a little late on the podcast here, so we're going to cut it right there. So we're just going to say thank you again to all the listeners out there. Again, we want to thank everyone that's listening to us in California, in pretty much all over the United States. I'm seeing on there. People out of the country are also listening to us, so we just thank everybody. If you want, again, a suggestion, you want a topic discussed, email us at therealfanreview.com or go to our website. Oh, I did that backwards. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to therealfanreview.com and do a little contact us. You can send your suggestions, your topics, or anything you want us to talk about. Or if you just want to shout us out, we'll shout you right back out. Or you can go to our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, anything like that. Follow us, subscribe, like, give us suggestions. And again, we always appreciate you guys listening. And this is Ha from The Real Fan Review with Sanj, Al, Mason, and Samantha. Thanks for listening.
Yes, guys.
Good night.
Good night.